welcome back to In the Alley. My name is Cody. Glad you guys are back for another video. I am in the middle of Green Bay and Tulsa, but I have to pause it because we have to get the Saturday preview out. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into that so we can get back into this. All right, we've got 4 games on the docket for Saturday. We're going to start with this one. It is 6:05 p.m. Central Time kickoff on the Indoor Football League Network. As always, we have the 2-0 Fishers Freight traveling to Massachusetts against the 0-2 Massachusetts Pirates. And if you told me that these were their records about a month or two ago, I probably would have looked at you and been like, no, you've got the records switched around, right? But no, Fishers has been just kind of the belle of the ball when it comes to this, and Massachusetts has kind of been searching for an offense and searching for some sort of identity. So this is where we are at, so let's preview it. Our impact players for this game. Starting off with our quarterbacks, we have a question mark with Massachusetts. I'll get to that in a second. Jaya Wright, though, is going to be your starter for Fishers, and boy howdy has he been really good. I mean, he has been that game manager, and I know that's a term that some people don't really like to use, but he has managed each of Fishers' games really well. He has thrown the ball as well as he can. He has run the ball exceedingly well, and I expect more of it, to be brutally honest. This offense is looking very good. This defense is looking very, very good, and I know he doesn't play defense, so we can only speak for the offense, but that's where we're at. That's where we're at. Jaya Wright is actually killing it right now. And I told you guys I was skeptical when he came over from Sioux Falls because Sioux Falls had weapons, but he's doing really well with what Fishers has. So kudos there. For Massachusetts, I have Felix Harper. Now, Felix Harper was a former Bay Area Panther. He comes over. He got released from Bay Area. And then there was a trade that happened but also didn't happen. Aeneas Dennis got traded from Massachusetts to Tucson, but I have not seen anything that he has signed with Tucson. He has refused to report from Massachusetts. So we still have Kenji Bahar here. I have Felix Harper put down. I do not know who's going to start. Because why are you going out and trading a quarterback, signing another one? It's a little weird. So I have Felix Harper starting. Very serviceable. He was DeQuan Neal's backup in Bay Area. He started a couple of games. Very, very good run-first style quarterback. And we'll see how that kind of goes with Massachusetts if he does start. If not, it's Bahar once more. And we'll just kind of see how that offense goes through it with another week under their belt. I think a bye week as well. Our skill positions. I have JT Stokes again. There's just something about this offense, man. I don't know what it is. Now, you can put Jaya Wright here again. You can put John Lewis here again. You can put Isaiah Cox or Shavera Smith. But I have JT Stokes again because he is really kind of coming into it a little bit. Now, the offense, again, leaves a little bit to be desired, but for the most part, they're throwing the ball well. They're running the ball very well. And Stokes has been a part of that, especially in the receiving game. And again, Jordan Kress, Isaiah Cox, Shavera Smith, they've all gotten their turn catching the ball. So we'll see. I have him here just a little like, hey, let's throw the ball and see how well we do with it. For Massachusetts, again, another question mark. I have Puka Williams. He did not play in their last game. And they had Dominic Roberto, who's still on the roster. But is Puka Williams back? Because that can be a little bit of a help. Not saying Roberto didn't do his job. He did. But having extra depth at that running back position, able to spell each other out, 1A, 1B, whatever the case could be. Puka Williams has done really well for all things considered. So can you get him involved? Which wide receiver is going to step up? Can this offense get going? For the defense, Fishers, I have Tamar Hart. Now, I'm basing this on if Felix Harper starts that linebacker position to try and corral that running style quarterback. Not to say Bahar can't run, but he is definitely more of a pocket passing style quarterback. He'll take off if he has to, but Tamar Hart, he will be there. And even if it is Bahar starting, Tamar Hart is going to have to pressure the quarterback. And I think that's going to be a big thing. If you can disrupt that timing like 2 other teams have done for Massachusetts and really get that passing game out of sync, Hart's going to be a big part of that. No intention on rhyming there. On the defensive side, Sal Lipoli. We'll see the injury report in a second, but for Lipoli, it's the same thing. Jaya Wright runs. Can the linebacker corral him? Can the linebacker disrupt his timing and make a team one-dimensional? And it's going to be on him because they don't really have any depth at the linebacker position. So I have both linebackers here for that reason. Injury report, 3 guys come off, 3 guys go on for Fishers. Julian Walker, Jatarius Spivey, and Tylan Wallace are all added. And for Massachusetts, the only addition is Voshan Joseph. And there's another player taken off, if I'm not mistaken. For our game odds, it is a -5.5 on the road for Fishers with an over-under of 78.5. And the money line kind of juiced, -185 for Fishers, +154 for Massachusetts. We are in the Songus Center in Lowell, Massachusetts. Again, 6:05 p.m. Central Time kickoff on the Indoor Football League Network. And this is the first meeting between these two teams as, well, Fishers is still a brand new team, even though right now it doesn't really feel like it the way that they've been winning. So, very first meeting in Massachusetts. Let's go check out our rosters, our bets, predictions. We have 3 more previews after this to do. All right, so I'm going to be looking down here towards my laptop, so if I'm not paying attention to you guys, apologies, but 25-man rosters popping up here, you're not going to see my face anyways. For the Fishers Freight, the away side in this game, quarterbacks, Jaya Wright is your starter, Keegan Shoemaker most likely your backup. Running back, we have yet to see John Gay play, but John Lewis has been really, really good, so I don't know if he suits up or not, but we'll just kind of see. John Lewis will probably get the bulk of the carries as usual. For a wide receiving core, JT Stokes, Shavera Smith, Isaiah Cox, Jordan Kress, most likely your wide receiving core. Jalen Carter is off the short-term injured reserve. We'll see if he suits up. We'll see if he doesn't. On the offensive line, AJ Forbes, LaQuinston Sharp, and Jeremy Cooper. They've been really good as your offensive line. And Noah Batiglieri is off of short-term injured reserve as well, so maybe a little bit of a depth piece. We'll see if he gets in. On the defensive side, Christopher Oakley, Jalen Swan, Robert Horsey, and Isaiah Reed. Again, very serviceable defensive line. Those guys have played very, very well since becoming a team. So, I mean, what more can you say here? Your linebacker position, Tamar Hart, talked about him exclusively in the previous segment. We'll see how well he does. Again, not a lot of depth at the linebacker position for both sides. He'll get after it. For the secondary, Kareem Golden, Sean Steele II, former Green Bay Blizzard. He is off of short-term injured reserve, so more depth to that secondary. Aaron Jackson, Jaden Rowe, AJ Felton, and Devin Hafford round out your defensive back position. Your kicker is Michael Beloga. And again, 3 players on short-term injured reserve, 3 players taken off, Carter, Batiglieri, and Sean Steele. So some depth added, some depth taken away. For Massachusetts, a couple of changes, but we'll see. Kenji Bahar, your quarterback, Felix Harper, your backup, or the other way around. We don't know. Running back position, Puka Williams and Dominic Roberto. Again, we don't know. Roberto started the last game. Puka Williams started the first game. We'll see how well the injuries go. For the wide receiving core, Tio Redding, Isaiah Coulter, Thomas Owens, Isaac Zico. More of the same there. I mean, it's kind of been like that for the first couple of games. And then offensive line, Nick Ford, Jordan McCray, Ryan Johnson, and Navon Donaldson. So again, you'll have 3 starters, most likely a backup. On the defense, for the defensive line, Dominic Kewen, Jablonski Green Jr., Guy Thomas, DJ Dale, Terry Beckner, and Afanyi Maye. He is off a short-term injured reserve, adds more depth to that defensive line as if they needed any more. It's a very stacked defensive line, excuse me. For the linebacker position, we have Sal Lapoli. Again, not a lot of depth there, so I'm going to have to rely on him in the defensive side. For the secondary, Donnie Lewis, CJ Holmes, Matt Elam, Marquise Waters, and Marcus Floyd. So probably your 4 starters and then 1 reserve there. Your kicker, gone is Tommy Bleakroad, and is all too familiar, Josh Gable. So hopefully that can give you a little bit of a hand in the kicking game. There's your 25-man roster for Massachusetts. There's your 25-man roster for Fishers. And again, this should be a very fun game in the sense of we've got one team really looking forward to stay undefeated, one team looking to break that winless streak. So let's go take a look at our bet and our prediction, and we will move on with our second preview. All right, bet and prediction time. And yeah, this one is tough for me, but it's also kind of easy. Fisher's money line, -185. I'm not a huge fan of just straight money lines when it comes to this, but again, the spread Plus 5.5. I don't know. I think Fishers could win by a touchdown. I also think Massachusetts could keep it close if the signings that they have do pan out. The over-under of 78.5. I mean, that one's tough for me. Fishers likes to run the ball. They will kill clock, so the under does look in play, but I could also see something where a shootout does occur. I mean, we do have some experience on the Massachusetts side as well, so you could see something like that going in, maybe getting to 80 points if both teams can score 40. I mean, we don't know. So for another cop-out, I'm going with the Fishers Freight minus 185. I'm not a huge fan of numbers juiced like that. You don't really want to get the best bang for your buck when it comes to betting, but I do not think Massachusetts is going to win this game, and if I'm wrong, so be it. But I do think Fishers is the better team here. They've proven it, and I am just weary of Massachusetts right now. I think I said Fishers was the better team. If not, then Fishers is the better team. Otherwise, I just said Massachusetts is better than Massachusetts. I'm sorry, I'm tired. But yeah, I think Fishers has the ability to win this game. I think that they're just kind of rolling on all cylinders. Eventually, the train will stop. Pun very much intended. But I do not think it is this week. The amount of changes that Massachusetts has gone through in the last couple of weeks, signing new coaches, signing new players, getting rid of other players, like, is it enough? And again, at some point, Massachusetts will get a win. If it's this game, it's this game. But I just don't think it is. So, oh well. I do think that Fishers will run on them. I do think that they will force turnovers. And maybe there is another kick return touchdown in the cards for a team against Massachusetts. I don't think so. But yeah, I do think Fishers can cause some turnovers, especially if it's the first start for Felix Harper. He hasn't started at all this season. He hasn't been on a roster all season. Not to say that just makes him completely useless. It's not. But at the same time, he's got to learn that chemistry. I know he knows game speed, but chemistry with the receivers, chemistry with the running backs, things like that. It could just be another one of those games where the Fishers knows what they're doing at this point. So my prediction for this one, 45-36. I do think Fishers wins it, 9-point victory. And if you want to take that spread of minus 5.5, then I guess go ahead and do it. I have it at 81, so that over-under is close, but minus 185, I'm just going to take all of it out, take all the breath out of it, and just say Fishers wins it. So that's where we have it. Let's go take a look at our second preview as we roll along. All right. Preview number 2. We are at 7:05 p.m. Central Time for our kickoff. Again, Indoor Football League Network. The reason I say it for all of these is because if you only want to watch your certain preview, your certain team, then there you go. If you watch the whole thing, thank you. But again, some people only want to watch their preview or recap for their certain team. So there we go. 7:05 p.m. Central Time kickoff on the Indoor Football League Network. We have the 0-2 Iowa Barnstormers traveling across their state, just barely into the other state, to play the Quad City Steamwheelers, who are 3-0. Hey, this game looks familiar. Thanks, audience. They played last week, and we will talk about it. I don't know why I'm being sarcastic there, but there we go. They did play last week, so let's get into it. Our impact players, we start with the quarterbacks. Joaquin Collazo and Daquan Neal. Collazo, he has thrown another interception, as I have said this. I'm kidding, but at the same time, he's got to limit the turnovers in this game. Simple as that. And whether that's him looking off receivers, the play calling, whatever the case could be, Iowa has to do a better job of holding on to that damn football. They have been in games. They have let games slip away from them. That being said, for the Barnstormers, they need to do something offensively. They put up points, but it's not enough points. That's the reason why they're 0-2. And again, they just throw the ball. Once they get behind, they just completely abandon the run game and say, hey, we're just going to throw it 40 times a game. And you can't do that because the defense zeroes in on that. It's one of the easiest things. And that's not a knock on Collazo, but overall, like, that the team has to figure something out. And if they can start running the ball a little bit, I don't know. If they don't practice it, if they do practice it, I'm not sure. But they have to find some sort of running game. It's been a few years. They don't have a running game. Simple as that. And Collazo could take off. He had that 30-yard touchdown or however long it was down that right sideline, but that is an anomaly in this offense. So, not to be outdone, though, Daquan Neal had a 48-yard rushing touchdown, and he looked very, very good. against the Barnstormers, and he gets to play him the very next week. So, excuse me. For Daquan Neal, it comes down to as simple as, can the offense kind of stay hot? 52 points last week. And they honestly, to be honest, they should have scored more. They did not get enough points off turnovers. You picked them off 5 times, and I think they only scored points off turnovers like 2 times, maybe 3 times. And it could have been easily in the 60s, maybe 70s if they would have capitalized on some touchdowns. For our skill positions, I've got Keyshawn Taylor and Jordan Vesey. Again, Keyshawn Taylor has been really good. Kean Williams, very good, but I'm not going to put Kean Williams here every single week. Otherwise, that would get boring and mundane. So Keyshawn Taylor gets the spotlight here, mainly due to the fact of his touchdown prowess, and he is, scoring the first touchdown of the game last week, if I'm not mistaken. Or was that Kean Williams? I think that was Keyshawn Taylor. Very first play, just over the top. But yeah, he needs to get it in gear. Kean Williams needs to get it in gear. And if Iowa wants any shot at this win, they have to get after it. They have to pass the ball really well. And again, figure out some sort of running game to take some pressure off of the passing game. For Quad City, a very balanced attack. Daquan Neal runs it. Jared Ware runs it. VC, Davion Johnson, there will be some fly sweeps, jet sweeps, stuff like that. They will run it. But then there are also deep shots. Jordan VC with his couple of touchdowns against Massachusetts. I can't remember if he got into the end zone against Iowa. Again, so many touchdowns in my head, but and lack of sleep. But Jordan Vesey, he has been a very, very good wide receiver. I've been waiting for Kevon Rudd to kind of break out a little bit, but he might be more that veteran mentor at this point. Vesey is a really damn good wide receiver, and I think he might even be their wide receiver 1. So more power to him if he can get this ball going, and if he is the guy that Daquan Neal looks for first and foremost. Not to say Rudd is washed or anything. He's not. He is very, very good too. He's able to catch touchdowns and catch the ball and do things like that. But I haven't seen Travell Calvin. I don't think he played last game. Devonair Conliffe has refused to report. So wide receiver room looks a little thin. VC will keep that going. On the defense, simple as this. Tyler Tate, get after the quarterback. Wreck his life, throw his timing off, and do what you have to do in order to stop this offense. You gave up 52 points. You got to do something. And that defense has, not looked it. You've got to get a pass rush. You've got to stop the running game. I know it's not just on his shoulders, but for the most part, it's on that defensive line. Tyler Tate is the veteran of that defensive line. They need to get it going really quick. For the defense for Quad City, Cameron Harrell, kick return touchdown on special teams, multiple interceptions last week. We'll see if he's, ball hawking around this week. If he has another interception in him, that defense looks scary. Not just last week, but in all 3 games, they've taken the ball away. Arslanian has multiple interceptions. Chukwuemeka had a pick. I think Malik Duncan has had a pick. Trey Smith has had picks. This defense looks very, very, very good. And if they can make Iowa's life hell for a second straight week, we've got a 4-0 Quad City team. Let's take a look at our injury report right here. Nothing to report for the Barnstormers. They're pretty healthy, all things considered. And then nothing to report for Quad City. Chimadunga and CJ Parrish are on there from the previous week. Our betting odds for this one, -7.5 for Quad City, over under of 85.5 for the game. And then a very juiced money line, -250 for the Steam Wheelers and +205 if you want to pick Iowa on the road upset. We are in the Vibrant Arena at the Mark with monster trucks. Again, 7:05 p.m. Central Time kickoff, Indoor Football League Network, and our series history 7-5 in favor of Quad City. As always, they met last week, 52-38. Steam Wheelers won it. So let's go take a look at our 25-man roster, bet and prediction. We're halfway through this preview. All right, 25-man rosters for Quad City and Iowa popping up here. Let's get into the away side. Joaquin Collazo, your starting quarterback, most likely. Niall McLaughlin as your backup. Hunter Clausen, your lone running back. And your wide receiving core, Keyshawn Taylor, Kean Williams, Jalen Bracey, Caleb Hood, and Shaq Currington. I realized I didn't really give Caleb Hood his flowers in the preview segment. So there are your flowers, Caleb. You've done really, really well for this offense too. And Jalen Bracey as well. I have not seen Shaq Currington suit up for this team yet. We'll kind of see what goes on. Offensive line, Rodney Luckett, Tyler Castaneda, Desmond Bissent, and Paul Fay. I think Castaneda started last week, and I know Paul Fay has started all of their games, but we'll see if it's Luckett or Bissent for that other spot. For the defensive side, we have Patrick Godbolt, Joshua Ellison, and Gabe Smith, Tyler Tate, and Jared Johnson. So again, like I said, Godbolt's been pretty good. He's gotten to the quarterback. He was able to, I think he sacked Neal in the previous game. So they do get after the quarterback, but I just want more. Whether it's Gabe Smith, Tyler Tate, Godbolt, I mean, they're getting there. I just don't know if they're getting enough stops, and it could be because of the turnovers. I could be completely out of my mind when it comes to that. The defense has looked all right. It's just the offense hasn't been what I think it should be. For the linebacker position, Kadri Jackson. And for the secondary, Larry Walker, Caleb Street, Isaac Duffy, Jared Sod, Jaleel Brown, and Darius Harper. I do not think Jared Sod has started a game, and he is your veteran, experienced guy in that secondary. So a lot of rookies have been kind of taking their lumps, and they've done all right. So I know Jaleel Brown has played really well. Isaac Duffy, Street, and Walker all have played pretty decently, all things considered, when it comes to lack of experience. So for the kicker position, it is always Gabriel Rui. And let's move over to Quad City now. Daquan Neal, your starting quarterback. Demery Croft is your backup. Running back position, Geno Appleberry has not suited up for a game, but they haven't needed him. Jared Ware has done really well at the running back position. And then for our wide receivers, Travell Calvin, Davion Johnson, Deion McShane, Kevon Rudd, and Jordan Vesey. We will see who that depth wide receiver is. As I said, Devonair Conliffe has refused a report, but they have some depth here. Davion Johnson, Kevon Rudd, and Jordan Vesey have kind of been your starters, and they've gotten a different wide receiver in each game. So we'll see if Calvin or McShane makes their second appearance, second start, whatever the case could be. Offensive line, nothing really changes. Tyrone Patterson, Joe Crowell, Ivory Scott, and Tyrone Chambers. I don't think Patterson, he might have started, but I know it's been Crowell, Scott, and Chambers for the most part. Defensively, not a lot of depth on that defensive line. Kadir Shepard, David Cagle, Keyshawn Moore, and I know Brian Lee has kind of dropped down there, and he's in that linebacker spot. So he could be that depth defensive line piece if he needs to be, but for the most part, a little bit of a depth issue per se. Linebacker position, Bub Arslanian and Brian Lee. So again, Lee can do linebacker. He can do defensive line if he needs to. And we'll just figure it out. Secondary, Trey Smith, Chris Chukwuemeka, Nicholas Harris, Malik Duncan, Cameron Harrell. And we'll see if they can get 6 interceptions in this one. And your kicker is Kyle Kaplan. So again, not much has changed between these two in the matter of a week, if anything at all. And that's what we have at our 25-man roster for Quad City, our 25-man roster for Iowa. Let's go check out our bet and our prediction, and we will move on. All right, so our bet and prediction for this game. For me, I was on Sports Coast to Coast with Alex Schuthbert. Shout out to Sports Coast to Coast and Alec. You guys do an amazing job over there with your forum and the videos and stuff that you guys do. And when I was on there, I said I was going to pick Iowa plus 7.5 because, again, it's the second straight matchup. They could have kind of figured some things out. I don't think Iowa's going to throw 5 interceptions in this game. I can't do that. I'm sorry, Alec. I'm sorry I screwed up your process and everything there. I'm going total homer with this one like I have in the past, minus 7.5, Quad City. They're the better team. They should have scored more points last week with the turnovers that they were given. Another week on another notch under their belt. If they can figure out the Iowa offense again, they can completely shut them down. I do not see it. I do think Iowa's going to score some points. They've been able to score points all year. Their comebacks have just fallen a little short. With that, I do think that this will be a close game. I do think Iowa pulls this out in the end. I can't take the money line. It's a little too rich for me. And I don't know, the over-under, I'm always timid with over-unders just because unless I just feel it for a fact, I don't know. These teams could run the ball. One team could run the ball, but we know the other team's going to light it up. So the over could be in play with this one, just for the sheer fact of Iowa's probably going to play from behind. They're going to chuck it as much as they can, and even if the score is out of hand, they're going to keep chucking it. But -7.5, Quad City. I think that's what it is. I do think it is. And my prediction for this one, 49-40. Again, I think it's close in terms of spread. So that's a 9-point victory, -7.5. You're sweating it a little bit. But yeah, I don't know, man. I got to go with my team. And the more they make me believe, the more I'm getting in my head that this could be a championship year. And I hate doing that. I hate doing that because I don't want to get ahead of myself and start feeling this way. But if they go to 4-0, if they win this one, and even if they cover that spread, oh baby, we're cooking with some gas now. As Hank Hill would say, propane and propane accessories. Anyway, I do think Quad City wins this one. I hope they cover the spread because that's what I'm betting. But 49-40, I think the Steam Wheelers win it and they go to 4-0. That's what we have. Iowa back to the drawing board for the next week. We go from there. But that's what I have for this one. -7.5 and 49-40. Steam Wheelers win it. Let's go take a look at our third preview of 4 games. All right, preview number 3. And we have an 8:05 p.m. Central Time kickoff on the Indoor Football League Network. It is the Jacksonville Sharks traveling across the country to take on the Tucson Sugar Skulls. Jacksonville 2-0, Sugar Skulls 0-1. So Tucson has had a bye week in week 1 where there's only 3 games that were played. They played against Arizona and lost, and then they have their second bye week of 3, and they only have 1 bye week for the rest of the year. So this is going to be very, very fun. Let's take a look at our impact players here. We got a little bit to talk about. Caleb Barker, he has looked very, very, very good for these 2 games for Jacksonville. A nice victory against Vegas last week, and he's been doing it all, man. He's been throwing the ball really well. He has a nice connection with Karan Ashley, Jaden Stoshak, and he's not afraid to run the ball when he absolutely has to. But again, Jimmy Robinson and Tyler King and Edward Vander and all of those guys have been helping with the running game too. So Caleb Barker, I'm not trying to put the moniker of game manager, but he is managing the game really well. But he's doing just a little bit more than just managing the game, if you catch what I'm saying. Quarterback for Tucson. I don't know. We're 2 games into this, and they've already released their quarterback. Jordan Ambrose is released. They have signed Amon Caldwell, former San Antonio gunslinger, back up to Sam Castronova. I mean, he's been around for a second, but this is who we have. We have Amon Caldwell. There is a trade for Aeneas Dennis from Massachusetts. I have yet to see he is signed, and we are already on to our second quarterback in the matter of 2 games. The carousel spins, baby. I don't really have much on him. He was the backup to Castronova. He did play some special teams for the Gunslingers at points, and he got into the game very sparingly. Nothing really be like, hey, here's Amon Caldwell. He did really well. I don't really have a good frame of reference. He's serviceable. I don't know. We'll see. Skill positions. Karan Ashley. Like I said, he's got a very good chemistry right now with Caleb Barker. There have been some really big pass plays that he has come up with, and all things considered, there's kind of a limited wide receiving room for the Sharks. Ashley has been a bright spot of it. Edward Vander and Jaden Stoshak have done really well with their time at the wide receiver spot too, but Karan Ashley, with that trade from Quad City, he's looked very, very good. And not to say like he was gonna, like he was gonna free fall or anything like that, but I mean, I thought he'd be. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's like maybe Quad City wasn't using him right, because Karan Ashley has looked really good, and he did well at Quad City, but I don't know, man. He might be wide receiver 1 for Jacksonville. Skill position for Tucson. This might be the guy for every single week. Devontae Sapp-Lynch. There's just nothing around him, man. They've got some skill positions at the wide receiver, but that quarterback position, if you can't make the wide receivers look good, this is the only guy who can. I mean, this is the only guy who can make the offense look good. And I do not know what Tucson's identity is. I really don't. So if they can run him, he had that nice running back screen for the touchdown against Arizona. He was able to run the ball a little bit. We'll see if the offense goes through him again, as it had to do kind of last year as well. But it's just a team in flux right now. Defensively, Hayden Hatcher. I wrote this down as if Jordan Ambrose was going to be the quarterback and then Aeneas Dennis. But Hayden Hatcher, pretty good against Jerome Johnson. I don't know if Amon Caldwell is too much of a scrambler, so if you're able to put pressure on Caldwell, Hayden Hatcher can blitz up the middle. That defense pitched a shutout against Vegas in the second half. The defense, is it Chris Rice, I think was there. We'll get to the 25-man roster. I know it's either Chris or Chase. One of them's a country singer. One of them is the linebacker for the Jacksonville Sharks. I will butcher it each time, but with Rice, RJ Wilkins, that way that defensive line looks, Hayden Hatcher as well, if they can get to the pressure, if they can pressure the quarterback and get to Amon Caldwell, we're looking good. Defensively for Tucson, Jaquez Jackson, again, kind of the same thing. Caleb Barker can take off and run if he absolutely has to. They prefer he doesn't. He does run. Again, he does run. They will have design run plays, but if you can keep a clean pocket for Caleb Barker, he can carve you. And Jaquez Jackson will look to disrupt that. And again, I don't know if there's too much on the defensive line, if there's too much in that secondary. Again, this is just a Tucson team that already seems in flux. We're not even 2 games into their season. Injury report. Ja'Cory Johns off of the short-term injured reserve for Jacksonville. Otherwise, nothing changes. And there are a couple of players released from Tucson, and wide receiver Brian Smith has been added to the injury report. Our game odds, -8.5 on the road for Jacksonville, +8.5 for Tucson, over-under of 79.5, and a money line big -280 to Jacksonville, +225 if you want the upset at home for the Sugar Skulls. Speaking of home, we are at Tucson Arena and the Tucson Convention Center, home of the IFL Championship game. 8:05 p.m. Central Time kickoff, and yeah, this is our first meeting. Hard to believe that, but also not. 0-0. Jacksonville didn't play them last year in their first year in the Indoor Football League, so we get a good look at both of them. Let's go take a look at our 25-man roster, bet and prediction. We got one more preview after this. All right, 25-man roster is popping up over my face here. We start with the away side. As always, Jacksonville. Caleb Barker will be your starter. Blaine Espinoza as your backup. Jimmy Robinson will be your starting running back. Tyler King will be your backup. Again, these are all kind of subject to change, but that's just kind of how I see them. Your wide receivers, Karan Ashley, Edward Vander, Jaden Stoshak, and Marcus Rogers. I do not think Marcus Rogers is suited up. They've just kind of gone with the same 21-man roster for the last 2 games. We'll see if anything changes. Offensive line, Eric Harris, Leon Brown, and Dominic Jackson with Chaz Neal as your depth piece. Again, they haven't really needed him, so he doesn't have a number. Defensively, Kyvon Bennett, Chris Rice. See, Chris Rice. Chase Rice is the singer. Got to remember that. Chris Rice, Noah Lyles, RJ Wilkins. I'm sorry, I forgot Noah Lyles when I was talking defensive line in the previous segment. Your linebackers, Hayden Hatcher and Ja'Cory Johns. Like I said, Johns is off a short-term injury reserve, so he slots in. Defensive secondary, Tyrese Ross, Jordan Whitley, John Huggins, Malik Jones, Corey Kelly, and Malik Fleming. So for that secondary, again, Malik Jones kind of taking the ball away a little bit. Tyrese Ross, John Huggins, they're hitting people. Jordan Whitley is doing it all. I mean, they're very, very good. Like, that secondary is starting to become something to look at and go, hey, should we be worried about this? Your kicker, new kicker, Christian Bartley. So gone is Carson Hancock, and I'm not saying that this is a bad thing, but Jacksonville did go through a couple of kickers. Every team goes through kickers, unless you have like one of the 3 or 4 that are really good. Lacayo, Kaplan, Rui, Mevis. I'm leaving a couple out, I'm sure, but yeah, we'll see. Tucson. Amon Caldwell. I put Aeneas Dennis here just because I do not know if the trade has been fully signed, if it's been official, but again, that showed that he was refused to report from Massachusetts as the latest transaction, so I don't know if the trade went through. So I put him here just in case, but I think it's just going to be a one quarterback thing again. Speaking of just one player, Devontae Sapp Lynch is your only running back. And then for your wide receivers, Jerome Buckner, Drew Dixon, Braden Oakley, Kevin Adams, Lorenzo Thompson, former Sioux Falls Storm. He comes off of short-term injured reserve, and they have signed Alfonso Taylor, which I did a Google search. It showed that he was a defensive back from Arizona State. He was signed with Arizona earlier this year before he was released. I can't find anything on the guy. So if he is the defensive back turned wide receiver from Arizona State, cool. Offensive line, Cody Bullig, Krikor Kostanian, Dallas Raines, Niamanta Decor, Javian Caldwell, and Jermaine Donaldson. So quite a bit of offensive line depth. We'll see. You can only start 3 of them. On the defensive side, John McMullen, Niles Gaddy, Trey Henry, DeJymin Brooks, and Jalen Stewart. Again, Brooks is the veteran there. We'll kind of see how the rest of it goes. The defense gave up quite a few to Arizona. Jaquez Jackson is your linebacker, and your secondary, Tariq Bracy, Brian Murray, Jalen Perkins, Gabe Amigatcher, and Kendricks Gladney. So again, some depth on that secondary, but again, the secondary got kind of torched a little bit against Arizona, and they didn't have Arizona run the ball on them too. So we'll kind of see if the defense can step up in their second game. Your kicker is Kevin Macias. He did make a field goal, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe 2 field goals. Or did he? I think he did, against Arizona. So we'll kind of see how that goes. But there's your 25-man roster for Tucson. There's your 25-man roster for Jacksonville. Let's go take a look at our bet and our prediction, and we just continue on. All right, bet time. And I don't want to say this one was easy, but it's kind of easy. Minus 8.5 for Jacksonville. We have a team with a lot of confidence. They shut out, my opinion, they shut out a team that I thought is going to win the championship. That might change, but they shut them out in the second half. We have a team playing their second game. It's a home opener, but they got kind of smoked against their in-state rival, and we've got some changing pieces. I think that spells just a lot of good vibes. Now, again, Jacksonville does have to travel across the country, so we'll see if the travel has anything to do, time zones, stuff like that. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But I do think Jacksonville, all things considered, they will take this one. And it's 8.5. You have to win by 9. Can Tucson do anything to cover the spread? They can. But again, I'm not going to take a minus 278 for the money line, so let's make things a little interesting here. I do think Jacksonville can take their foot off the gas too, so the over-under, I'd lean under just because if Jacksonville gets too far out, maybe Tucson doesn't score enough points. Under is kind of in play there. But anyway, minus 8.5. I do think Jacksonville wins this one. They win it convincingly, 42-30. Maybe there's a garbage time touchdown for Tucson in there to get up to those 30 points. But for the most part, I do not know what this Tucson team is. I do not know what their offensive identity is because we don't know what the quarterback play looks like. The defense, again, we only have a 1-game sample size, so they have to go up against the former defending champs and then a team that's completely rebuilt itself in the matter of their first 2 games. That's kind of brutal. So 42-30 for me. I do think Jacksonville takes this victory. 12-point victory. They cover the spread. I'm kind of being generous with that. I think Jacksonville could score more points if they truly want to. Like I said, I think they might take their foot off the gas. And I do think Tucson does score a little more than what they probably should. I think Alec, when we were talking on Thursday, said, hey, I don't think they score 30. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Now, it could be mistaken for another team, so if I am, apologies. But, yeah, I think they get to about 30, maybe 31 if we're being, field goals and touchdowns. But you always get wacky numbers in the indoor football league when it comes to scores. It's always rare if you're like, hey, it's 49-42, and you're like, okay. So 42-30. Let's put a wacky number out there. Minus 8.5. Jacksonville takes this one. We'll see if Tucson pulls the upset or covers. But let's go take a look at our final preview. All right, final preview of the night. It is an 8:05 p.m. Central Time, and this is the only Western Conference matchup. Yeah, Jacksonville's in the East, and then Iowa, Quad City. Okay, yeah, so this is the only Western Conference matchup for the night. It is San Antonio traveling to Arizona. San Antonio, with their previous game, beating Bay Area, and Arizona with a comeback victory against Green Bay to go to 2-0, San Antonio 1-1. Taking a look at our skill positions, we have Malik Henry against Dalton Snead for the quarterback battle. Henry has looked good. He has looked bad. And we'll see what this has to entail because Arizona's defense looks really, really, really good. And if they can get after Malik Henry, again, he is one of these quarterbacks, which I don't know what it is about this year where we're having less and less mobile quarterbacks, whether it's been the previous preview with Caldwell, Malik Henry, Joaquin Colazo. Like, I don't know what it is, but here we are. Malik Henry, he will run if he has to. Again, it's just kind of one of those things, but they prefer to keep him in the pocket. Now, again, let's address this elephant. Tom Menas has been fired from his position, and James Fuller takes the reins. So we'll see if it's a different style of offense. We will see if Guy Myers even starts, but I still have Malik Henry here just based on the 2 games that have taken place. So we will see, but Henry's looked good, all things considered, but again, a couple of times he has failed to look off receivers, which has resulted in interceptions, and we'll just kind of see how that goes. For Arizona, Dalton Snead, as everyone has kind of said in their forums or their blog posts, kind of the front runner for MVP. I don't like saying that like 3 games into the season because we just don't know. Players can catch fire as the season goes along, but yeah, if you said, hey, who's the MVP right now? I don't know, Dalton Snead, probably 6 passing touchdowns last week against Green Bay. Had to mount that comeback to beat them, and he has just looked very, very good. Looked good against Tucson, and he has just kind of kept that championship pace since last year. So our skill positions, Nyquan Murray and Jamal Miles. I think this is the first game Nyquan Murray, did he play against Bay Area? I can't remember. I don't think he played against Bay Area. I think they took him off of injured reserve after that during their bye week. But if this is his first game, I look for them to go to him. Because if you look down at the injury report, DJ Myers is on the short-term injured reserve, and they need another wide receiver to step up alongside Austin Upshaw and Cali Rashad, things along those lines. For Arizona, Jamal Miles, some really, 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 really good touchdown catches against Green Bay. He's done very, very well so far, and it's just that connection, man. Jamal Miles has been with Arizona for so damn long, and he's just continuing to put up these numbers. He's continuing to do as well as he has. Dare I say it could be an Indoor Football League Hall of Fame style career. Don't get ahead of yourself now. We're not even to that point yet. I don't know how many years he has left, but he has looked very good. He has a championship under his belt. He has put up some really good numbers. I could be getting ahead of myself here. Probably am, but he has done very, very well in this league. Defensively, Jordan Jones, he's got to get after it. For all good that Dalton Snead has had, Jordan Jones can wreck it. Now, again, he's looked pretty good against Bay Area. He's looked pretty good against Tulsa in a revenge game. If he can get to Dalton Snead, if he can keep this score low, and that defense can kind of get things going, I think there's an opportunity that San Antonio could pull an upset. But Jordan Jones is kind of that, that turnkey for that defensive line. You see in that injury report, we'll talk in a sec, Ulrich Jones is out, so we need someone to get to the quarterback. Ulrich Jones can also bat down passes. But Jordan Jones, it's up to him. That defense needs to cover those wide receivers like glue. Easier said than done. Defensively, Devontae Merriweather, he's been there. But right now, it's like Ethan Castleberry has kind of been that bright spot in that defense. Devontae Merriweather's had his moments, but there's just been parts where it's like, is he on the field? And that's not a call to be like, he's cut, he's washed or anything. It's just like, man, he's there. He's there. Can this be the game where he steps up and you're like, there he is. There's the championship game MVP. That's him. He's taken the ball away. He's done this. He's done that. Now, again, he's had bright spots. He's made tackles. He's batted down passes. He's covered wide receivers. He's done everything that he's been needed to do. But again, it's that kind of thing where it's like, oh, where's he been at? He's just been kind of like lying in the weeds, ready to pounce. Could this be the game where he does that? We'll see. Injury report, nothing to report for San Antonio. DJ Myers, Ulrich Jones, already talked about them. And then Darren Wilson, I think I talked about him in the last game. He is on season injured reserve. For our betting odds, minus 8.5 for the Rattlers, over under of 85.5, and minus 278 for the Rattlers at home. Speaking of home, we are at the Desert Diamond Arena in Glendale, Arizona. Again, 8:05 p.m. Central Time kickoff on the Indoor Football League Network. Stream every game, every time, and pay extra for playoff games. Our head-to-head, 1-0 Arizona. They won 41-34 in the final week of the season last year in 2024. So this will be their second matchup in, less than a calendar year, 6 months, whatever it is. Who cares? Let's go take a look at our rosters, our bet and prediction, and we're done. All right. 25-man rosters popping up over my face for the final time in this video. Let's talk the away side, the San Antonio Gunslingers. Quarterback Malik Henry and Guy Myers. They've used Guy Myers in goal line packages. It hasn't really worked, but we'll see if they get him in for anything else or if he even starts. I don't see it. I think Malik Henry is there, and we'll just kind of go from there. Keyshawn Harper, most likely your starting running back. CJ Odom has suited up in the last couple of games, so they have had a little bit of running game help. For the wide receivers, Glenn Gibbons, he returns to Arizona. We'll see how well this goes. Callie Rashad, Austin Upshaw, Naquan Murray, and Bailey Edwards. For the offensive line, Matthew Burrell, Quan Stallworth, Joel Galvin, and LaColby Tucker. So again, we'll see how well this offense does. They've sputtered, but they've also won a game. So yeah, a little bit left to be desired on that offense. Defensively, they've looked very good. Defensive line does not have a lot of depth. Austin Collier, Warren Thomas, Ellison Jordan, and again, Ulrich Jones is on that short-term injured reserve. Arizona could be licking their chops if they can wear down that defensive line. Linebackers, Jordan Jones and Hassan Black. And then your secondary, Riverius Rivers, Clifton Duck, Christoph Page, Jalen Phelps, Kyle Myers, and Denai Jackson. Christoph Page also played for Arizona a few seasons ago, so a huge revenge game for Page. For those of you who remember, not really. I mean, he was good when he was at Arizona, but nothing off the wall where it's oh man, Christoph Page. Kicker is Tyler Hudel, and that is your 25-man roster for San Antonio. Over to Arizona, Dalton Sneed will most likely be your starter. Trip Harrington did not suit up in the last game. We'll see how that goes. Drew Powell is your backup. Your running back is Ron Brown. And then your wide receiving core, Jamal Miles, Johannes Tyler, Isaiah Houston, and Corey Reed. And again, that receiving core has been pretty good. Johannes Tyler really coming into it. Corey Reed, first game back after getting re-signed. And again, Houston and Miles have been mainstays at that wide receiver position. Offensive line, Michael Brown, Q Baker, Christopher Strotter, and Cordell Brewster. On the defensive side, Kevin Symes, Rashawn Yates, Isaiah Coe, and James Nimwaya. We'll see if that defensive line can get after Malik Henry. Again, I put down Devontae Merriweather, but that defensive line has been kind of wreaking havoc lately, and we'll just kind of see how that goes. Your linebacker, I've last name Jalen Campbell. I pronounced the P on that. Jalen Campbell. Jesus, I'm delusional right now, guys. Your defensive secondary, Devontae Merriweather, Deontay Overstreet, Rashi Hodge, Isaiah Huff, Omari Alexander, and Ethan Castleberry. So a lot of depth at that secondary position. You've got depth at the linebacker position. They both have started a game. And again, Yates, Symes, and Nimwaya, really good. Isaiah Coe, really good. Arizona looks very, very good. Round it all out, Dawson Evans is your kicker. And there's your 25-man roster for Arizona, your 25-man roster for San Antonio. Let's go take a look at our bets, our predictions, and we are out of here. All right, bet and prediction time. This one's tough. This one's tough because of the question of what San Antonio are we going to get. When you look at the game that they had against Bay Area, it was a deuce and a couple of field goals, but only a couple of touchdowns. But they were able to secure a victory against Bay Area. Against Tulsa, they did not look like themselves, but the defense only held Tulsa to 28 points. They only scored 20. Can the offense get going? That's the reason I'm a little hesitant to take the over. I might lean towards the under when it comes to that, but that's not my pick. My pick is minus 8.5 for Arizona. The reason why, they just look good. They look good. And that comeback against Green Bay probably gave them quite a bit of a confidence boost. They destroyed their in-state rival. The Kevin Guy Bowl was 56 or whatever to 28. I mean, they have been just rolling. Dalton Snead is already in midseason form. They've played 2 games. And again, it's that whole thing where if you want to bet minus 278 for Arizona, you can. You're not going to get much of a return when it comes to betting. And I know this is more than just a betting segment, but I'm going to take minus 8.5 for Arizona. I do think they get it done. It could be a 10-point victory. It could be more. It just depends on if Arizona's defense can shut down San Antonio's offense. Vice versa. San Antonio's defense looks very good. And I think this might be the best defense that Arizona has faced up until this point. Tucson left a lot to be desired. And right now, Green Bay, they're giving up points left and right to Tulsa. So for me, it just kind of boils down to, can San Antonio stop Arizona? If not, Arizona couldn't run away with this. I might be giving a little too much credit to San Antonio's offense in this one, but my prediction for this game, 49-38. I do think San Antonio finally scores some points. Arizona, they still pull away with it. It's an 11-point victory. They cover the spread, and that's where we have it. I think Arizona's offense is just very, very good. And even if that defensive line, which, again, they don't have a lot of depth for San Antonio, if you can wear down that defensive line, Arizona is going to run it on you. They're going to pass it on you. Dalton Snead is going to run it on you. They will run a jet sweep with Jamal Miles. They will do whatever they need to do in order to win this game. Johannes Tyler will probably catch a touchdown pass. He's good for that now. Jamal Miles will catch a touchdown pass. It's up to San Antonio to play catch up at that point. They can, but I think Arizona's defense will just be a little bit better than San Antonio's offense, especially if you have to play from behind. Again, San Antonio is just kind of one of those teams where they try and run the ball, but sometimes they give up on it. Now, again, we don't know. We're in the James Fuller era of San Antonio. We'll just kind of see. But minus 8.5, 49-38 Arizona. There it is. Let's go wrap everything up and get out of here. And that is it for our Week 4 Saturday preview. That's a lot of games. If you tuned in for all 4 of these, congratulations. I don't really have a prize for you, but kudos to you. Comment that you watched all 4 previews, and I will shout you out in the next video, I guess. I don't know. Thank you for watching, man. It's a lot of effort and time to put all this stuff in here. So again, I am grateful for the people that do watch all of the previews, that watch all of the recaps. If you are that dedicated as I am, awesome. I appreciate you guys. It means that there's a lot of love and a lot of community when it comes to the Indoor Football League. So I love you guys. But if you only watched one, I still appreciate it. If you watch multiple, again, I appreciate that too. It means a lot. So if you want to, like, comment, share, subscribe. Gotta plug it at the end of every video, and we just kind of go from there. But yeah, that's where we're at. I'm going to take off here, guys. It's a long preview. We got 4 games tonight. We still have Sunday night football between Northern Arizona and Bay Area, so we'll kind of see how that goes. Got to preview that later. And again, recaps will come out as they come out. We're gonna have a great recap between Green Bay and Tulsa. I will tell you that much. We are in the 4th quarter, and it's getting good here. At least that's what I'm watching. Like, I'm kind of seeing it out of the corner of my eye. So that's what we have. But anyway, I'm going to take off here, guys. I love and appreciate every single one of you. With that being said, I will see you guys in the next video. I always hate trying to end these because I think of something and then my brain just gets weird. So anyway, I will see you guys in the next video. See you.